Hey, sports fans, what makes Sega Genesis new Joe Montana 2 Sports Talk Football the most realistic? Simple. They're the only ones who put in a continuous play-by-play announcer. Let's go to the action.
First and 10, active half, better hurry, puts it up, intercepted, first down. Montana, active half, throws, going deep, wide open, payday.
Joe Montana 2 Sports Talk Football.
It's a whole lot more.
Every great story begins with a spark of genius, a moment where passion and innovation collide. And for football fans of the early 90s, that spark came from an unlikely place. Some found it in the pixelated world of video games. And at the heart of it all, at least for the Sega Genesis, was the legend Joe Montana. But what if I told you this game wasn't just about touchdowns and tackles? What if I told you it was the start of a revolution, one that would redefine sports gaming forever? This is the story of Joe Montana's Sports Talk Football 2 and the game that changed the rules. To understand why Joe Montana's Sports Talk Football 2 was so special, we need to take a step back in time. The early 1990s marked the golden age of sports games, a time when developers were experimenting with technology and pushing boundaries to make games more immersive than ever before. It was in 1991 when Sega introduced the original Joe Montana Sports Talk Football. Now this just wasn't another football game, it was a game changer. Now Sega's goal was clear from the get-go, to compete with the heavyweights like Tecmo Bowl for the NES, showing off the capabilities of what their powerful Sega Genesis console could do. The first Sports Talk Football didn't just bring football to your living room, it brought the sound of football. For the first time ever, players could hear play-by-play commentary in real time.
Pitch out to the back, out to the right. Caught by the receiver, to the 30, 20, 10, and he's in. The crowd goes wild. The score is 6-3.
So instead of just seeing your touchdown, you could actually hear the announcer celebrate it. And by today's standards, it could be that's standard in every football game, but at the time in 1991, this was totally revolutionary. Now let's not oversell it here. Sure, the commentary was basic, lines repeated and delivery was sometimes delayed. But in 1991, this was groundbreaking technology and showed us a glimpse of what the future of sports games could sound and be like. The gameplay itself in the original was straightforward, but it was solid. Players had access to a variety of plays, realistic animations, and a competitive AI. And while it did lack some of the depth seen in Madden, it more than made up for it with an accessibility and an incredible commentary. They were taking a chance. It was a bold first step, and one that paved the way for its sequel. Now when the sequel launched in 1992, it was clear that Sega had learned from the first game. This was their chance to take everything great about the original and take it to the next level. It had actual NFL licensed teams, smoother gameplay, updated graphics, and refined commentary that made Sports Talk 2 a worthy successor. And together, these two games laid the foundation of what sports games could achieve. They didn't just simulate the sport, they brought its spirit to life. Now you can't talk about this game without mentioning its namesake, Joe Montana himself. Known as Joe Cool, Montana was already a living legend by the 90s when this game came out. With 4 Super Bowl wins and countless highlights to his name, he was the perfect face for Sega's ambitious project. And Montana just wasn't any quarterback. He was a symbol of precision and poise under pressure. He excelled at Notre Dame, leading the Fighting Irish to a national championship in 1977, and then later was drafted by the 49ers in 1979. His partnership with Coach Bill Walsh and the revolutionary West Coast offense set the stage for an unprecedented era of success, and tons of moments, such as the catch. Need I say more? So when Sega approached him to be the face of their Sports Talk series, they weren't just picking any name, they were picking a living legend. But it wasn't all about marketing. Joe Montana's influence on the game went beyond the cover art. Sega worked hard to ensure that the game mechanics reflected his playstyle. Quick passes, strategic thinking, and precision were baked into the gameplay, making viewers feel like they were actually embodying Joe Cool himself. So what made Sports Talk Football 2 different from its competitors? Primarily, the commentary. At a time when most games relied on 8-bit and 16-bit bleeps and sound effects, this game featured actual play-by-play commentary. And that was a first for consoles back in the day. The commentary in Sports Talk 2 Football was way more advanced than its predecessor. It featured a wider variety of phrases, smoother transitions, and a slightly faster response time in the game action. But let's still keep it real, it was not perfect. but it was a major leap forward, offering players a more immersive experience than ever before. But what truly set this commentary apart was its ability to convey excitement. Scoring a touchdown just wasn't visually satisfying, it was audibly thrilling. And hearing the announcer cheer your success made every big play feel even bigger. Now, this was the first step toward a feature that obviously we take now for granted in modern sports games: real-time dynamic commentary. Today's games have commentators who react to players' stats, rivalries, and ongoing gameplay. But let's give props where props are due. It all started with humble beginnings like this. And even with its limitations, the commentary for this game was a trailblazer back in the day. It bridged the gap between watching a football game and playing one, setting a new standard for sports games that would follow for years to come. And of course, the game isn't just about bells and whistles and commentary. At its core, Joe Montana Sports Talk Football delivered solid gameplay, with multiple modes, customizable teams, actual NFL teams, and a mix of arcade and simulation style mechanics. It appealed both to casual players and hardcore fans. Now, the controls were simple enough for newcomers to pick up, but the game did have enough depth for seasoned players to strategize. Players could focus on timing their passes perfectly, running carefully, playing routes, and even setting up screens to outwit the defense. And one thing I noticed about the defense in this game, the defense is smart enough to make adjustments, so you just can't pick that same play and run it over and over. Eventually, the defense will get wise to it. As far as the game's playbook, it offered a wide array of strategies, from conservative running plays to aggressive deep throws. And in this game, you had to plant your feet before you passed the ball to ensure your success of passing.
Active pass. The pass. Has it to the 30, 20, 10, into the end zone.
The ability to adapt to different scenarios on the field made each game feel dynamic. Whether you were facing a tight defense or a high-scoring offense, Sports Talk 2 Football challenged you to think like an actual coach. Another standout feature in the game was the game's balance between arcade-style fun and realistic football mechanics. It wasn't overly complicated, but it wasn't simplistic either. It allowed this balance for players of all skill levels to enjoy the game, while still feeling the intensity of a real football match. And let's not forget about the competitive spirit. Every game has their winners and their sore losers. So whether you were challenging a friend or on the couch battling the AI, Joe Montana Sports Talk Football brought out the best and sometimes the fiercest in players. You know, the guy that just turns off the game before you score the winning touchdown, or just gives up and quits playing and says, "Well, you didn't really beat me though." Yeah, sports games did that back in the day. Now, while Joe Montana Sports Talk Football wasn't perfect, its influence can still be felt today though. From games that live on today like Madden and FIFA, modern game sports owe a lot to the foundation of this game. It showed developers what was possible when technology and ambition collided. And more than 3 decades later, this game still holds a special place in the hearts of retro gamers. It's a reminder of a simpler time when gaming wasn't about microtransactions or online servers, but the joy of playing with a friend on the couch. So if you're new to retro gaming or old school fan, I highly recommend you give Joe Montana Sports Talk Football 1 and 2 a try. It wasn't just an experience in my opinion, it was one that changed sports games forever. But let me know in the comments below, what were your experiences with Joe Montana Sports Talk Football? Did you like 1 better? Did you like 2 better? Or were you a Madden guy? Or all 3? So that's it for the story of Joe Montana Sports Talk Football. But please don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe as it helps the channel grow, and that way you don't miss any more gaming information on this channel. And as always, take care of yourself, protect your inner peace, God bless you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.